begin with body shaming. Unloaded on Patrick Mahomes. Fat, and he's an embarrassment. Well, that's not true because he's also been hanging with attractive women. At what point are you a made man in Kansas City? I speak on behalf of every guy with a dad bod in America. That's not even fat. And by God, Patrick Mahomes, you're an inspiration to every regular guy. Let's begin with body shaming. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Kevin Kietzman, a Kansas City radio host, is just unloaded on Patrick Mahomes, saying that he's fat and he's an embarrassment. Stop the fast food, do a setup, do something. I don't understand it, says Kietzman. You can't just run through your NFL career eating Taco Bell all the time and door dashing fried chicken. You've got a $500 million contract. It's your job. He's done nothing but eat and drink this offseason. Well, that's not true because he's also been hanging with attractive women. I saw the photos, Kevin Kietzman. Oh, man. Really? At what point are you a made man in Kansas City? Patrick Mahomes has bought 3 Super Bowls to this town. He's won 2 MVP awards. He's taken you to 5 Super Bowls. And you're going to dog the man in July for having a little bit of fun? Is this still America? Kevin Kietzman, were you raised in Moscow, comrade? At what point in time does a man get a pass? And look at that. I speak on behalf of every guy with a dad bod in America. That's not even fat. Most of us are dreaming of that body. I haven't seen that body since the late 1990s. By God, does everybody have to be Tom Brady? Does everybody have to be drinking kale shakes in March because you're already gearing up for kickoff? Let's let Tom Brady weigh in on this, in fact. Here's an all-time Super 70 sports classic. I tweeted long before Tom Brady's TB12 fitness method, Terry Bradshaw had invented the TB 12 beers a day method. Look at Terry Bradshaw. Kevin Kietzman would have a coronary if he saw the 4-time Super Bowl winner, Terry Bradshaw, in his prime. Tom Brady weighing in to say, tomato, tomato. There's more than one way to do this. And by God, Patrick Mahomes, you're an inspiration to every regular guy. I remember when Rick Ocasek married Paulina Porizkova, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, back in the 1980s. And I was like, God damn it, that means we've all got a chance. Rick Ocasek's out there representing the common man, the man who wasn't blessed with Brad Pitt good looks. And Patrick Mahomes is out there representing all of us that have enjoyed a beverage or two and have raised some children. God damn it, Kevin Kietzman, you leave that man alone. He's a 3-time Super Bowl winner. He ought to be able to walk around Kansas City and never hear any criticism of himself. Shame on you, Kevin Kietzman. Now, on the subject of bodies, and I guess this could be body shaming or it could be body complimenting, depending on how you look at it. Pop quiz. Who's leading the major leagues in home runs? No, it's not Shohei Ohtani. He's got 31. No, it's not the captain, Aaron Judge, who has 34. It's Cal Raleigh, the catcher for the Seattle Mariners. 36 dingers as we approach the All-Star game, and a honky-tonk badonka-donk.
Yeah, they say in Seattle they sell number 29 jerseys with the name Big Dumper on the back.
Big Dumper is what they call Cal Raleigh. Mark McGuire was Big Mac. Sammy Sosa was Slammin' Sammy. Barry Bonds was that fucking asshole. He gets a nickname like Big Dumper. I don't know how Cal Raleigh feels about that, but they've even put it on baseball cards, apparently. Have a look at this. Is your collection complete without a Cal Raleigh Big Dumper autograph card? That man, the Big Dumper, out homering Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. and not getting a whole lot of national recognition for it. But how did he finally make it on this program? His ass. That sounds about right. Speaking of catchers in the major leagues doing extraordinary things, Patrick Bailey of the San Francisco Giants did something last night that has not happened in Major League Baseball in 99 years. Yeah, that's right. 1926 was the last time a catcher had a walk-off inside the park homer. And he went in standing up as well. How about that? What are the odds of the catcher having an inside the park homer, period? What are the odds of the catcher walking it off in the bottom of the ninth with an inside the park homer? And what are the odds that he doesn't even have to slide? Pretty crazy stuff. You don't see that every day. Shout out to Benny Tate, who was the last backstop to do it back on August the 11th, 1926. The kind of thing that maybe Bob Dylan might like to read about as he drops into a convenience store and picks up a copy of Baseball Weekly. And I miss Baseball Weekly. That used to be a staple. Super Sky Point to Baseball Weekly. You got me through my fantasy leagues back in the day. Bob Dylan reading Baseball Weekly in an empty convenience store. It means nothing. It means everything. It means something to me. Yesterday on this program, we talked about a golf fight. We had the footage of what Ronnie T-Shirts would call a short king, the kind of man that he was disposing of on the streets of Columbus, Ohio years ago. We had a liquored up, diminutive man who went after a much larger man on a golf course and found out. Let's take a look at this footage here again because we're following up today.
Pack up.
And get a look at this. He's ready to go. He's not going to let the fact that he's 5'5.5" stop him.
Come on, man. Hey.
And there you can see he ended up further in the rough than Greg Norman's ball in a pressure situation at a major. But he's got no give up in him.
Boom.
Did you notice that technique there?
Boom.
Did you notice the technique? Holding him with the left. Look at him. He got a hold of some shirt and he's bashing him. Does that look like any type of style to you? It looks a lot like a hockey enforcer. And that would make sense because that's former NHL player Nick Tarnasky. Not just an NHL player, specifically an enforcer. And he's enforcing some justice on the grass just as well as he enforced it on the ice. Good Lord. Here's a tip for you. If you're under 5'10" and you want to start a fight on a golf course, don't pick a gigantic NHL player to go after. All right? Go after the Golden Girls who are in front of you taking a little too long. Hey, let's, step it up, Marge. We're waiting here. I got a life to live. Don't go after the NHL enforcer. All right. Merlin Olsen, there's a guy who can do some enforcement on the football field. Merlin Olsen, though, he had layers. This guy. I miss Merlin Olsen. He was a Renaissance man. He could kick your ass. Then he could eloquently break down exactly how he kicked it. Maybe send you a thoughtful bouquet of flowers afterwards as a gesture of goodwill. He was a defensive lineman. He was an actor. He was a sensitive guy. He was a great announcer. He could do it all. We don't have enough guys like Merlin Olsen in this society today. One more thing here for you before I bring in one of the modern heroes of this world. Maybe not exactly in the image of Merlin Olsen, but another great man who is waiting on deck here. We have our WNBA All-Star teams selected. It happened. Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier, the two captains, the top vote getters, selecting their squads for the WNBA All-Star game that is just around the corner, about a week and a half from now. That's going to take place in where else? Indianapolis. And take a look here at Caitlin Clark's squad. There she is, posing with the team. This is basically the Indiana Fever. and friends is what we should call this, because she drafted her teammates Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, and she traded coaches. Her coach was going to be the coach of the other team. She was able to work out a deal with Napheesa Collier that sent her own coach. So the Indiana Fever spirit is going to be together. And guess what? She didn't draft that certain superstar from Chicago, Angel Reese. So to discuss that and more, I now go to the luminary, the man who fills the 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern hour like no other here on the OutKick platform. He is, of course, the pride of the Hoosier state of Indiana. Dan Dakich joins the show. Dan, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Merlin Olsen was a Renaissance man. Angel Reese was never going to be on the same team as Caitlin Clark, and neither was Cheryl Reeves, that maniac, old sexy we call her here in Indianapolis, the Lynx coach. The big sexy, she wasn't going to coach Angel or Caitlin Clark either. How are you?
I'm good, Dan. I'm good. I'm better than the guy who went after the NHL enforcer on the golf course. Dan, have you ever seen, you've played some golf. You're a guy's guy. You hang out with other men whose testosterone is not low. Have you ever seen tensions escalate to near blows on a golf course before?
Ricky, I've played a golf hole naked. I sat on a green and watched my buddy Darryl Collins bite the head off a frog and spit it out. The only time I've ever seen anything close to that was in Vegas. We heard two guys yelling at each other. My son and I were playing in a group. We went over the hill to see what was going on. And when I looked at the guys, the groups, I said, these guys are the kind of guys that got guns. They look a little mobbed up, Ricky. And we turned around and we went right back to our hole. We didn't worry about it. We didn't hear gunshots. But no, I grew up in Gary, Indiana. When we would play golf, to this day, actually, I think if I go into another fairway, somebody's going to steal the ball. We were young white kids in a predominantly African-American public golf course, and the brothers would steal our golf balls, and we watch them, and we go, hey. Never came down to throwing hands. They would give it back if we caught them. But no, one time, guys did say something. They stopped their car, and they were going to climb a fence. This is on 35th and Broadway in Gary, and we got out our 9-irons just in case. But no, never seen anything like that. Certainly not in my adult years. No.
Well, look, Dan, I don't even know where to begin. You're on golf courses naked. No. I hope that this, I don't know if it's better or worse. I don't know if this is an outdoor sex situation. I don't know if you can elaborate on it.
That. No.
You know?
Well, no. I mean, there was an outdoor golf course sex situation or five. But, no, we were in high school. We had what was called the Jack Bennett Screen Door Open in honor of our really bad baseball coach. And we drank too much, and we got to one of these holes at Turkey Creek Public Course. And we decided, you know what, let's see if we can play this whole hole naked. So we all put our clothes in our bag and marched down the course, the hole naked. It was right after my buddy, I've never seen anything like it. We're sitting there getting ready to tee off or getting ready to sober up, I don't know, and he saw a frog, and he grabbed the frog, bit the head off the frog, threw the frog, and spit the frog head out. I got to tell you, that was and still is maybe the most remarkable thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm still stunned by it 50, 60 years later, whatever it's been.
Man, I'll tell you what, you didn't cheat me on this segment, Dan. I'll tell you right now. I'm just like, you ever see Tempers Flare? It's like, I got way more than I bargained for. All right, Dan. Yeah. So what do you make of this fucking all-star game here? I think it's kind of goofy that we're doing the team Caitlin and team Napheesa. I think there's a lot of people that still need to learn what the fucking conference alignment is. But we know that I guess Team Caitlin is going to be America's team. Do people give a shit about this? What kind of viewing numbers do you suspect this game's going to get?
That's a really good question. I didn't realize the NBA women or the WNBA All-Star Game was in Indy, and I do a show here in Indy. I didn't until Danny Z asked me to play golf, and I said, well, where? He said, Indy. I said, why? He said, WNBA All-Star Game. I'm like, where? Really? I don't know, but man, oh man, is a WNBA great theater. I mean, the pettiness. Think about this. DeWanna Bonner is like a top 10 all-time scorer, but she couldn't play in Indy because her fiance was in Phoenix. She didn't want to play with three white heterosexual women. She was heartbroken. My wife goes nuts on this. As you know, she coached for a number of years. She's like, why is this on a coach? Why is this on a coach to have to deal with that kind of bullshit where some player that you brought over can't play because her fiance is on another team? Why? The stories of women and sex and lesbianism and pressure, they're horrible all across women's softball and basketball. And the WNBA is no different. Yet they want to be treated and paid like guys. Like, what dude is going to act like these women act in Major League Baseball or in the NFL or in the NHL? Are you crazy? These women are nuts, and I'm here every day for it. It is the dumbest group of human beings. It is the most poorly led group of human beings. Even their own person told Christine Brennan, hey, look, these women don't have a clue. They've been sheltered their whole life, and they honestly have no idea what real media is. That's an official in the WNBA. It's a shit show, but I got to tell you, I do like Real Housewives shows, so I'm here for it. But on a serious note, the sex stuff, the pressuring that goes on in college, in women's college softball and in women's college basketball is dangerous and awful to women. Make a joke of it with these idiots in the WNBA. But in college, it's been going on for far too long, and it needs to be investigated. It needs to stop.
Well, Dan, producer Tim is among those who have floated out that the best gimmick for the WNBA All-Star Game perhaps might be lesbians against straight game. Would you be more likely to tune in if, you know?
Do you know?
Gender identity is the number one. It's one of the number one issues on the left. Let's just lean into it.
Hey, everybody on the left wants to tell us who they're having sex with. They do. They're dying to tell us who they're having sex with. I'm asexual. I'm pansexual. I'm unisexual. I'm trisexual. Shut up. I think that's perfect. I think Tim is right. Lesbians against straight girls. Well, what if I'm neither? Well, then you're in with the lesbians. I mean, that's it. Well, what if I like all? Then you're with the lesbians.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Make it simple.
Make it simple. If you're not sure, we're just going to put you on team. You're not straight as an arrow. Dump them all together. All right, look.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't. Angel Reese has got a new shoe, Dan. How's that for a segue? There's no coming back. Look at Angel Reese's signature shoe. Yeah, she's straight. Yeah. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark would be teammates in this hypothetical All-Star game.
That's right.
Oh, my God.
That Kelsey Plum, I think, is too. I mean, isn't she, Hey, appreciate you having me on, fellas. I'll talk. It's been fun.
All right, Dan. We appreciate you, brother. Have a good one. All right. He is Dan Dakich, of course. You can't make it up. We got frogs getting Ozzy Osbourne. We got people playing
asexual.
Golf naked.
You're with the lesbians.
Ron is in tears. I'm hearing. Let me go now to the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He is, of course, Ronnie T-shirts.
He said, "If you're asexual, you're with the lesbians."
I feel like that was the Hagler Hearns of segments that we've ever done. Like Dan's just like drops all this on us. Dakich,
and then he left. He's like, "Bye."
Gone.
He's like, "Bye."
Yeah.
Bye.
They play the Elvis da-da-da, da-da-da. Dakich has left the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Did anybody else see the irony of the guy saying, "I don't want to hear about your sexual exploits," to the guy that proclaims that he loves outdoor sex?
Let let me tell you what, when I'm not fucking people on golf courses, I don't want to hear anything about your sexual exploits. Can we please just keep it? Oh my God. So good. Ron, I'll let you take the last question that I had for Dan before Dan just dropped a nuclear bomb on the show and peaced out. Caitlin Clark is expected to be back tonight, Ronnie. She has missed 10 of the 19 games that the Indiana Fever have played this year. And, you know, she's not played great. We've talked about it on the show. By her standards, she leads the league in turnovers by, you know, something like 60% more than the person who's second, who the last time I looked, that was Angel Reese. Obviously, Caitlin Clark's usage is through the roof. She's got the ball all the time. She's trying to make plays. She's kind of like prime Brett Favre, right? Yeah, the interceptions were high, but it's because he was always trying to make things happen and he was throwing a lot and whatever.
Yep.
Here's a stat, though, that kind of blows my mind, Ron. This year at home, 3-point range, as I said, she's shooting 29%. But if you break down her home-road splits, okay, and this is where you are in your life, by the way, Ron. Your life was going so well, and now here you are on a international streaming program, and I'm breaking down WNBA home-road splits. Awesome. This is where, like, the screen stops, and your character says, "You're probably wondering how I got here," and the movie begins. Well, it's a long story. Let me tell you. She's 22 of 50 at home, shooting 44%, which is lights out, obviously. But on the road so far this year, Caitlin Clark, are you ready for this? You're not even going to believe this, Ron. On the road, Caitlin Clark is 1 for 28 from 3-point range, which is 3.6%.
I actually don't believe you. That
doesn't seem like that's possible.
It seems like you're getting faulty information.
Fact checked twice. I was reluctant at first. It's there.
Tim is telling me it's been fact checked multiple times. 1 of 28.
That might be one of the craziest stats I've ever heard in sports.
You feel like if she was trying to miss, she would make 2 or 3 accidentally. She's so
right. Have you ever tried to miss a free throw and you make it? That's exactly correct.
Yes.
If she was trying, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a thing. So she's got to play better. You know, I was hyping her up, saying that I thought that she would be the MVP of the league, and I really believed it, or I wouldn't have said it. But at this point in time, she's just got to get healthy and be on the court long enough to get into a rhythm, because of the way that it is right now, yeah, we've got the 38-second sequence against the New York Liberty that, you know, I can see it in my mind's eye right now, and I don't think there's another player in the WNBA who's capable of pulling off a sequence like that, but she's got to play better. Dude, she's really got to up the game a little bit. I don't think that she's been playing to the level that we would expect of her. Ronnie, we've been talking about the golf fight 2 days in a row now. We've had the pleasure of watching who we know now was Nick Tarnasky, the retired NHL enforcer, roughing up Short King there after he got a little hyped. Although I will give the guy credit for his tenacity. He just wasn't giving up, was he? He got ragdolled around that course, and he just kept coming back. I kind of feel like maybe he was on something, maybe even something stronger than alcohol, Ron. But here's one for you. Another altercation on a golf course, a moose and a flagstick. What would that look like? Well, it would look like this.
That's awesome. I mean, that looks like everybody's dog or cat that, you know, if I put a something unfamiliar on the ground, like just say a bottle, a Mountain Dew bottle, a plastic Mountain Dew bottle, Carmen will do the same thing. She'll just be like, "What is that?" And she'll kind of look at it and go after it. So, I mean, that's just like every animal.
But
like,
what kind of green is that? I might be calling bullshit here. You mean to tell me a 700-pound, 600-pound moose isn't digging into the green at all?
Well, incredible.
He's light on his feet.
I don't know.
He's light on his feet. He's light on his feet.
Bushwood Country Club.
But that is, it's just,
Yeah,
he has no idea. That
where
moose
is this?
has
Is
no
this
idea
fucking
what that
Canada? Where the
National
fuck did
park,
this happen?
your
to?
national
No, it's an American national park.
But he's just acting like every animal. He's acting like every animal that has no idea what they're looking at. They're like so apprehensive.
For some reason, it reminds me of when my now 17-year-old, when she was about 3, she came down into my office and I had my golf bag in the corner of my office. And she comes down and she looks at it and she stops and she stares at it for a minute and she says, "It's a motorcycle." And I said, "No, honey, it's a golf bag." And then she said, "It's looking at me," which is, it's children.
Dude, what about your cat?
I don't know. The moose was just like,
have you ever seen your cat?
Fucking thing is, but it's looking at me.
Have you ever seen your cat play with that doorstop? The springy doorstop. You ever see like cats do that?
Yeah.
That's kind of what that moose. Yeah, that's what the moose was doing. Yeah, he was having fun. He was having a day. He was having a day.
All right. Well, you know who's going to be having a lot of days potentially over the course of the next several years? The San Francisco Giants. Rafael Devers. We talked about it. Getting dealt to San Francisco for prospects unexpectedly. Boston fans were up in arms because the guy's been a Yankee killer and he's one of their best players. He's a great hitter. And he got traded for a bunch of young guys. And Boston fans were like, well, what the fuck? Every Murph and Sully was pissed off because this happened.
Murph and Sully.
But if you go back to the history of Rafael Devers, he didn't want to move off of the third base position when they signed Alex Bregman. Then we get into the year after he reluctantly goes to DH. Tristan Casas, the first baseman, goes down with a season-ending injury. Boston management talks to Devers and says, how would you feel about taking some ground balls at first base? Playing some first base. He's like, nope. I think I refuse. And so after being unable to work with the guy, they decide, you know what? Maybe we don't want to pay this cat $30 million a year. And they dealt him to San Francisco. And San Francisco, who has had difficulty making a splash in free agency in recent years, finally gets their high-profile, big-time bat that they've been looking for. And they're happy. But as I alluded to on the program at the time, it's like relationships, Ron, right? You meet somebody and they're pretty and they seem fun and there's all of this and you're like, oh, this is great. But whose lives have they ruined in the past, Ron? You'll find out later, right? What the issues are. Why was this person single? Well, wait till you get a little bit down the road and you'll find out a multitude of reasons why this person was on the market. The Giants may be entering that phase with Rafael Devers already here. I want to go to this. Will Clark, friend of the program, says, and this is being reported by Will Fleming on WEEI in Boston, says Will Clark was there to work on ground balls with Devers at first base, and Raffy didn't show up. So that's the person the Red Sox have been dealing with. So you've got Will the Thrill, who's going to come out and work with you, and you can't be bothered to get there to work out at first base with Will Clark, a legend of the franchise that is your new home. So the question is, as it is in sports frequently, how much of a pain in the ass is somebody worth because of their on-field production? Boston decided that they'd had it with the guy. There's a reason that you make a trade like that. And now the Giants may be getting a taste of it. What do you think, Ryan?
I mean, how many guys have ended relationships with Jennifer Aniston, right? You look at Jennifer Aniston from afar and you're like, oh, if I had Jennifer Aniston, I'd stay with her forever. And yet there's a lot of guys that have ended relationships with her. This makes me think about, you mentioned the Murphs and the
Taylor
Sauls.
Swift's got a lot of exes.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the Murphs and the Sauls, and they're upset that they were trading Devers, right? And it just made me think about, as being a sports fan myself, sometimes I get annoyed that a certain player or a certain quarterback is starting for my team. I'm like, why isn't that guy starting? The truth is, Ricky, is I don't know anything. The coaches are there all day long, and they watch practices, and they see everything. And it was the same with the Red Sox. Murph and Saul have no idea. They have no idea what a malcontent or a cancer this guy might have been. It's like, if you're a fan of a team, you kind of got to trust the brass, because they're every day and they're seeing what happens. And usually down the road, you find out and you're like, oh, they were right. They knew what they were talking about.
I'm just saying, sometimes the ex-boyfriend that you're annoyed by or a little jealous of, you end up thinking to yourself, oh, maybe that motherfucker wasn't nearly as bad as I was led to believe. Maybe he was actually not the villain of that story that I kept getting one side of. It happens that way. So it may be a little bit of a sticky situation in San Francisco, Ron, but not as sticky as this situation. You remember Lester Hayes?
Lester the
of
Molester?
the Oakland Raiders? Lester the Molester. That is what they called him back when you could still say such things. The NFL finally banned Stickum in 1981 when Lester Hayes intercepted a pass with his ass and didn't even know it. Hey, Lester, run. What? You picked off the pass. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Check your butt cheeks.
Think about some of the
He
defensive
slathered
players.
himself in that stuff.
I know. Think about some of the defensive players that have been on the Raiders. It's like no other team, isn't it? Like Jack Tatum, the assassin, Lyle Alzado, Lester Hayes,
John Matuzak.
Right? I mean, can we just the Stork, Ted? What's his last name?
Ted Hendricks.
Ted Hendricks.
Mad
Thank
Stork.
It's even on his helmet.
Yeah, and it is. And even now, they've got again, man, my brain's not working. Max, the defensive end for
Crosby.
Thank you, Crosby. Man, they have characters on their defense, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And man, I can't believe Stickum was ever. Can you believe that it ever got to the point where you could just go out there like Winnie the Pooh after he stuck his dick in the honey jar?
He stuck his
that shit all over you. I mean, look at that.
Half shirt, no pants.
The NFL was like, well, just wait. I don't know. We'll see.
Bolitnikoff did it too, though.
An edict on this at some point.
Didn't Bolitnikoff do it too?
Bolitnikoff. Yeah.
And he put it up on. He put it on his arms and yeah.
Slathered that shit everywhere. But Lester Hayes had 13 interceptions one year, Ron. I'll never forget that. That's something you'll probably never see again in the modern game. It's a birthday celebration today, Tim. One of the star players of my youth is 70 years old today. Willie Wilson of the Kansas City Royals. I remember him well from the 1980 World Series that the Royals lost to the Philadelphia Phillies. 1982 AL batting champ, and he hit a lot of triples back in the day. A ton of triples, and look at that. That's pretty cool. When you see a guy's entire career in Topps baseball cards, that's kind of a beautiful thing. Going left to right there in the top row, Ron, that is 1979 to 1982. We got a record breaker card in there. I think that was most at bats in a season at that point. He had something like 726 at bats or somewhere in that neighborhood. You can fact check me on that. Row 2 goes from 1983 to 1986. Row 3 goes from 87 to 91. And the bottom row goes from 92 to 95 there, I believe it is.
So big debate if that's really a batting donut lower left in his bat. I'm not sure. I don't remember that being the case. He certainly wouldn't have gone to bat with it there.
He's in the on deck circle, no doubt, Tim. If that's the case, he's that was taken while he was in the on deck circle. I believe that is a real card, though. I think I've
Yeah.
tweeted about that, saying that, Willie Wilson hit 150 in 1991, and experts later realized it probably would have been 100 points higher if he'd taken the fucking donut off of his bat. But a happy 70th birthday to Willie Wilson, and here's a little bit of Kansas City Royals knowledge for you. This is a little who am I, Tim? Who is the quarterback that was selected in the 4th round by the Kansas City Royals in 1979? Well, look at that. It's Dan Marino himself. And I'm pretty sure, you have to fact check me on this, but I'm pretty sure that they drafted John Elway as well. Maybe the same year.
Yeah, or was that the Yankees?
Look
I know
that
he
up.
played. Did he? Did Elway do something with the Yankees?
Drafted him later.
Yeah.
I think the Royals drafted him first. Take a look and see. I'm pretty sure that they drafted both Elway and Marino the same year. If you know historical nuggets like that, why don't you sign up for Ricky Cobb's Rewind, motherfucker? Get over to OutKick.com/newsletters. It's as simple as that. Sign up for this bi-weekly jewel that finds its way into your inbox every Thursday. We got one on deck. It'll be coming up tomorrow. There I am hanging out with Rudy. There I am hanging out with Aaron Boone. Talking about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that just doesn't make it onto Super 70s. And in some cases doesn't make it onto this program. And then I'm doing other things. I'm listing my top 5 favorite this and that. We call it Gimme 5. There you see the rewind. Lots of good things happening with Ricky Cobb's Rewind. We're having fun with it, recapping the stuff that we do on this program and the things that happen over at Super 70s. I love the way my hair looked in that thumbnail. I wish it looked that good in real life. Last week we did top 5 baseball movies. I caption your photos. Ricky Cobb's Rewind at OutKick.com is the email. You can send your photos. You can send me your questions for the Margarita mailbag. All you have to do is head to OutKick.com/newsletters and sign up. It's absolutely free. You can unsubscribe at any time, but only a goddamn fool would do that.